getting it, fellas. Look here.
Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Tor Ego, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the power band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Wolverine, along with my space companions, Jarhigo.
Hey.
And C-Lab, the Slab, Cyclops forever.
What is up?
What is up, folks? Welcome to the podcast. This week, we are tackling the Christopher Nolan epic.
Master Blasterpiece.
Interstellar. Yes, masterpiece as well. This is such an excellent movie.
She's a good one.
And it's very long, so let's dive right into some high level.
I probably should have started watching it earlier than I did. I forgot it was 17 hours long.
Yeah.
But I dug it. It's a good movie. I gave it a 3 thumbs up.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of the good Nolan ones.
Interesting comment.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm giving it the 3-breasted whore from Total Recall.
I love it.
Instead of 3 thumbs, it gets three boobs.
3 boobs.
Yes.
That blew my mind when I was a kid, man. That literally just blew my
Same
mind.
here.
Baby, you make me wish I had 3 hands.
Betty.
I love it. What are bad? What are Nolan movies that you're not into?
Yeah, I'm more curious about that than anything now.
I mean, Tenet,
I was
somewhat.
definitely not particularly fond of the last one.
Yeah, Tenet.
Okay, yeah.
Any of the others?
I'm sure, but I didn't really think about it, so.
Fair enough. I mean, I like his movies. I think Tenet was a little, definitely on the edge.
Like the Aerosmith Edge?
The Aerosmith edge?
Living on the edge.
Oh, no, more like the U2 edge.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But, I don't know. I like most of his movies.
You're wearing a toque year round.
Yeah,
Yep. Sleeping in it too, man.
as you do.
As you do.
Never taking your sunglasses off.
Nope. Gotta be cool, man.
Never turning your delay pedal off.
Never.
Oh, you too.
Oh, man. All right. So I guess I don't have like a thumbs or a boobs thing. I feel kind of left out. But I think this movie is excellent, man. This is a very long movie, but it's very easy to watch. And it really moves along at a nice pace. It's like you're always going from one thing to the next, you know? And the clip is good. The content is great. It's like a science fiction movie based on kind of science reality, which I totally dig. And it's Nolan, dude, you know? It's really good. Great performances, man. Great script. And the soundtrack is just bang on. So, yeah, really, really love it.
So you like you some organ music?
I love me some organ music.
Yeah, it was one of the better scores kicking around these days, no doubt.
Yeah, very, very unique. There's a great documentary on that, on the score itself, and I'll have to dig it up and share it. I was remiss. I didn't think about it till tonight. I watched it like a year ago. It's super cool. So, I'll pass that along so everybody can enjoy that.
Please do.
Indeed.
Mr. Wolverine, I think this particular episode would be a good opportunity for me to take my shirt off.
Fair enough.
I think this movie would be an extra good movie for me to talk as gruff and low as possible.
You kind of sound like
all the time.
if like McConaughey and Sam Elliott had a kid.
Had a mustache baby.
I will confess my McConaughey is weak.
It's okay.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I really hit it, but not usually.
I think what you've landed on is something real special, dude.
Well,
now
that's
I'm
kind of what
picturing
McConaughey sounds. He kind of sounds like he's channeling Sam Elliott in this movie,
yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah, he does. I didn't take notes this week, and I should have written down some of his lines. He had a couple ones that jumped out at me.
Oh, definitely. I was kind of like late at night trying to kind of cram for the test today, cram for the exam. And
totally.
I was like reading a little bit of IMDb trivia during some of the quieter moments of the film because I've seen it so many times, you know.
Mm.
And on one of the times I did that, one of the anecdotes was like, you know, test audiences were like bursting into tears during the docking scene, and I was like, what the fuck is
I read that, yes.
And like I forgot about the like spinning docking scene towards the end, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'll like pay close attention to that scene, and I was like digging it. I was like, okay, wow, this is actually a pretty cool scene, you know. And it was like digging the intensity of it and enjoying the cinematography of it. And then all of a sudden he's like, come on, TARS, come on, TARS. And I started fucking laughing because of the amount of times we do it, and it completely pulled me out, and I thought it was fucking funny as shit.
Totally.
Come on, TARS.
Totally. Come on, TARS.
Come on, TARS. Come on.
So funny.
Come on, TARS.
It's such a great line to use in a show like ours, or just in general.
It is.
Harder, TARS.
I feel like he uses that sort of scenario in like so many movies, like the Dragon movie. He was doing something like, he's like, come on.
Yeah,
come
totally.
on.
Chewing on a cigar. I'm going to take your
Chewing on the cigar,
harder
yeah.
and faster Benny as a Daft Punk reference and not like a weird robot sex reference.
As a what reference?
A robot sex reference. It kind of sounded like a robot sex reference. It was just like, ugh.
Yeah, but what did you say? It was, but what were you saying it was a
Oh,
reference of?
Daft Punk, harder, better, faster, stronger.
Oh, well, that's still a weird robot sex reference.
That's
so I
fair.
don't
There you
really see
go.
how
Fair
we're-
enough. It's robot
how
sex
we're
all the way
escaping that.
down, man. Your quantum reality is not an infinite bookshelf. It's just infinite robot sex.
Well, I think that might be taking it a step too far by
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the line, is it?
by a long one. But no, just I mean, you know, I don't know why it has to be all robot sex.
Okay. Well,
For
part
one
of your
Fucking comment. I mean, come on.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, Chad, you went there in your mind. We didn't.
I got a good. No, I'm not. I'm have a real robot sex hang up. It's me. I actually have the robot sex problem. I'm just projecting.
Hey, man,
That's all right. Whatever your freak is, dude.
Yeah,
it's cool.
man.
Get your kink on, dude.
I support your right to be attracted to robots.
We support your right to get attracted to robots.
No love for Kip or what the hell's the other one
Dude, Case
called?
was kind of hot,
Case.
to be fair.
Case.
Strong silent type.
Oh, my God.
I did
Family
enjoy,
show.
like, fuck it, let's just go all the way robot here. I
Is
did
it?
enjoy TARS as, like, the sassy kind of jokester, and Case is just like, yeah, no, TARS is enough talking for both of us. Like, I enjoyed the personalities of those guys. They were great.
Apparently, I need to tune my humor settings down to 60%, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Very funny. I guess I need to tune mine up.
That's
I'm
it.
sorry, Kev. Perhaps you'd like to hear a knock-knock joke. I hope this one's not too racy for you.
That's it. I tried to let it put myself back into first viewing mindset here, and I recall on the first viewing just being like, what the fuck is up with those robots, dude? But they come good so quickly.
Yeah, it's a good place to
Like,
start.
There's a few different things about this film where first go round, I remember just being like, whoa, whether it's good or bad. And I enjoy how it threads together, you know, like it's perfectly fine by the time things get rolling, but the robots are a good example of being like, why are they this weird fucking slab thing? Which I should like because it's my name, but
I have the answer, and
Yeah?
it's Steve Jobs.
Johnny Ive and Steve Jobs.
Why do you say that? Because they look like giant phones?
No, because all Apple ever does is make giant, flat, fucking featureless objects.
Featureless metal rectangles.
And they cost $7 billion. That's great, dude. I love it. TARS is actually like the iPhone 736. I love that idea. And he's still got a fucking lightning port and no headphone jack.
Yeah, right? It'd been funny if they had named one of the robots Jobs.
Oh, totally, dude.
And he was like all angry and yelling at everybody.
Totally. Oh, God.
Jobs. Come on, Jobs. Come on,
Jobs. Come on, Jobs. I wish I had some like, I wish I had watched enough Steve Jobs to do an impression of him. I don't sadly have that.
The Jobs robot would have to have like a turtleneck, though. I mean,
Yeah, he would. Maybe he just like it'd be black all the way up to kind of the top bit, and then it would change color or something.
Like a giant like black condom on the robot. It'd be pretty funny. I can kind of do a Father Tim impression, but not a Jobs impression.
Jobs, his impression, I don't know. It's more an attitude thing than it is a voice thing for him. But he would say automatically. That's
just have to put a turtleneck on and act like a pretentious douchebag.
Yeah, exactly.
There you
Just
go.
Be a complete angry
Betty
asshole.
nails it again. An angry, pretentious debauch.
So I like the robots. I like the iPhone 763S Max Plus Pro, iPhone 750 S Max Pro.
S Max Pro, nice.
The iPhone 793 self-ambulatory edition.
And it still has a fucking horrifying camera bump on the back.
Still got a horrifying camera lump, yes.
So there you go. That's what I think about the robots. They're great.
All right. I think the robots are a good jumping off point. The robots, especially TARS, is like on this viewing I was like, I think TARS is my favorite character in the movie.
That's reasonable.
Like I really, really liked the robots. Like I agree with what you said, Chad. Like when I first saw this, I remember being like, wow, these robots are so bizarre, man. And I remembered I did a bunch of reading on this movie before, like when it came out, and I was like, just like the explanation of the robots, why they were designed that way. Like everything was designed to be like very future practical. Like this is something that's either being worked on or has been theorized, you know? So I really dug that. And just like the sort of the functionality and the morphability of the robots being in that like iPhone form, you know, I thought was pretty cool.
Kind
And how they were able to, how they were able to kind of morph into various different shapes and, you know, have little grabber arms and, you know, like the whole pinwheel thing on the Ocean World was really cool. And
They can turn into the Red Hot Chili Peppers asterisks and tumble through the waves.
Totally, dude. Nice one.
Totally.
I think, I really like that a lot. And I think that just the way that the TARS character was played was just fantastic by Bill Irwin. So, you know, really, really cool.
Yeah, Bill Irwin was awesome. And he apparently like wore he was apparently in like a black body stocking behind like a puppet that he was operating for a lot of the stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they were full on puppets, man.
Yeah,
I think that's so cool. I just, I thought that was a really cool nugget that he was the puppeteer for both of them, really. And then Josh Stewart, I guess, who did the voice of Case.
Josh Stewart said one line.
Yeah, I know he didn't have a lot of lines, but like still, I liked Case's voice and his like demeanor and personality.
Definitely.
Like the robots were very like real. You know what I mean? Like, you know, to the effect of like when they go into Gargantua 1 towards the end, you know, it's like you're kind of like, oh man, like that's it. Like there's no more TARS, you know? I mean, obviously you get surprised on the first viewing because he's inside the sort of the Tesseract 5-dimensional world with shirt off there. But shirt off.
Be a good name for him, dude.
Right? Or is like his Russian name would be like
that's it. Like Alexandria
Mikhail
shirt off.
That's so stupid. I love it.
Oh my God.
Come on, dude. Give me an inch. No?
I like it. I approve of your dad joke.
It's like a half death. Like Chad likes it, Ben hates it.
You're now wholly half dead.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa. Nice.
That makes it all worthwhile, that discovery
really
of the
does.
half-dead. Yeah, the scene that you're referencing with, like, they launch the shuttles towards the end into the black hole, man. Like, the tension is ratcheted appropriately, and there is definitely, like, a great moment there where, like, the two robots and Coop are, you know, conniving to make things happen, and Coop ejects, you know. It's a powerful scene.
Well, it was, and like I think too for me, like the explanation along the way of how the robots work, you know, of having like humor settings and discretion settings and all of that stuff, it just really helped flesh out their like the justification for the reason for, you know, their personalities and the way they acted, which I thought was great.
Yeah, and the 90% honesty setting is like it's a trope used by the characters in the movie. Cooper and what's her name?
Brand.
Yeah. I like that. I like that they're like one little joke about the humor setting becomes an inside joke for the crew, and it really does actually
Yes,
add a lot. It adds a really cool layer to the film.
Yeah, I agree with that. Benny, I know you're big into robots. What do you think of these robots?
Robot sex.
They're cool. I mean, they're seemingly practical,
Yeah.
they're seemingly practical in the movie, but I don't know in real life if that particular design would really be practical. There's at least one thing in the movie that struck me as a bit odd, and that's Cooper and Murph show up at NASA apparently after following the gravity waves or whatever, and they try to break in, and they're confronted by TARS.
Yes,
I'm presuming it's TARS, but you never actually see him. And it's well, yeah, how the fuck are those robots being intimate? Number one, how are they fighting people? Number two, how are they intimidating? Do they transform into the Chili Peppers star and come spinning at you sideways?
I'm a shuriken.
How do they fight? I don't know. Anyway, and the other thing is they're Marines.
Yes.
So that was it's and every other way it's oh yeah, cool, but except for that.
I don't know. That's a pretty interesting point, dude, because if they had just left that bit out about them being Marines or ex-Marine robots or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
It would have lent a little bit more kind of credibility to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe they were trying to do the the monster that you don't see is scarier thing or something, but I don't know. It's the one thing, I just couldn't picture it, it didn't.
Yeah. That's totally reasonable.
Well, it's you've got a giant iPhone with a Steve Jobs,
Help,
black
help.
condom sweater on, and he's yelling at you. It's I'm not scared.
Yeah.
Being verbally berated by an iPhone.
The weapon system on those things is that you go bankrupt buying them.
Yeah, exactly. Cool, man.
I might have gotten
Thank you.
I agree. I completely agree with what you're saying, and not at all trying to justify the opposite. But I could have swore I heard
But
a
you're gonna do it
taser
anyway?
sound or some shit when the light flashed at that fence. But who fucking knows?
A taser sound?
Taserface.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Or a phaser sound?
dropped him and threw him into the room. I don't know, whatever. They're it's kind of irrelevant because the total lack of weapon systems is pretty silly considering they're Marines. So I'm completely on the motorcycle with you, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's why I think they should have just eliminated the whole Marine thing altogether. And just I mean, it's if you take it out of the movie, it doesn't really change anything. It just makes it a little bit more plausible.
There's kind of a few things in the movie that are a bit like that, but for whatever reason, I feel like
what?
I think the whole brand on the ship being maybe it's Aina bullshit where maybe it's love, it's if you pull certain elements out of the movie and out of the flow of storytelling, you're kind of that's kind of dumb. But the way that the movie's crafted, you so go along with the journey that you kind of, I don't know about you, but I found I'm just yeah, cool, whatever. I'm on board. This is great. But sometimes if you just pull these elements out and look at them on their own, you're that's kind of weird and doesn't seem overly well thought out.
No, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I thought that I liked how they mixed all that stuff together. I mean, that was kind of the whole point of the film.
What stuff?
All of the stuff about how, the one thing, he was saying inside the Tesseract, the one thing that they don't have is love, human connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like treating it like the void which binds is actually fucking love, a new law of physics kind of thing. It could just be Cooper knows his daughter really well and as a result can code the thing into the watch, and it's it's love, but it's not love as a fucking new dimension. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Kind of.
No, I mean, they're all drinking the Kool-Aid that love is a force in the universe, just like gravity or magnetism or, radiation or, I won't name them all, but it's clear that's what they're talking about. I mean,
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if I feel like that. I guess my point is like on its own, I don't know if that actually helps this particular story. I don't know if it's required to kind of communicate the same idea in the sense that like it can be, arbitrary love. It doesn't need to be a force in the universe per se. It could just be like the connection of humanity is an abstract concept that makes us kind of, I don't know, stronger as a species, but it's not like a law of physics. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it worked in the Hyperion Cantos, and I don't think it was required here, even though I don't think it made this a bad movie, if that makes sense.
I see what you mean. Like I get it. Like they could have taken that out, and it would have made the movie just as good. And I could see that. Yeah, I liked the inclusion, and
or reframed it.
I like the way that they tied it in because I agree with that. I mean, or maybe that's the reason because I do agree with that. I think it's cool to explore those themes, man, because it's like, all of these things are connected. You know what I mean? So,
but you go so
without
hard science
going
the whole way
too
through,
deep.
and then just have it go a little, I don't know, abstract towards the end. It's an interesting story choice, and I don't at all like hate the movie for it. And I'm not arguing that it shouldn't be in the movie at all. I just find it interesting that it was chosen to be in the movie, considering that they like went super hard sciencey about it. That's all. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
well,
yes,
Sort
that
of.
was
well, I mean, it wasn't super hard sciencey. I mean,
No, but it was kind of trying to be a little bit.
sure, no, some of the things were, but in order to have a story, you have to ignore a lot of science.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's like, yeah, of course they got like, I forget who did the consulting.
Kip Thorne.
Kip Thorne, thank you. So I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a science fiction movie, so at least there aren't any bleep bloops. Well, I don't know. I guess the Tesseract is kind of a bleep bloop, but whatever.
Well, there's got to be another better bleep bloop than that in this movie. No,
It is. It kind of is a reasonable bleep.
Well, it's
place for
totally
a
the
bleep
Tesseract
bloop.
is totally a bleep bloop. I mean, I don't think there's any reason for us to believe that on the inside of a black hole there's like a 3D tartan pattern made out of your daughter's bookshelves.
yeah, right. Well, I don't believe that. I believe what he was saying, that like it was a 3-dimensional representation of 5-dimensional reality.
It was an attempt to communicate a requirement to a human through his memory, which like reasonable enough. But I mean, I think maybe part of what I'm hearing you say there, Benny, is just like that there's fucking anything inside of a black hole, let alone a 3-dimensional bookshelf, like a human surviving the event horizon we don't know, but I can't imagine it's overly likely.
Not as far as we understand. No.
Yeah.
Pleasant.
You get ripped to shreds, spaghettification.
Yeah,
all that
feel like
kind of stuff.
spaghettification.
Yeah.
Well, what if that's not the case? We don't know.
We don't. But let's talk about
Maybe
it for an hour.
Scooby-Doo is in there. Yeah, maybe Scooby-Doo's in there. Who knows?
Okay.
No?
It'd be pretty funny if it was Scooby-Doo.
Feeling like a death.
I like it. You're reaching for the stars there. You're reaching for the TARS.
I am. I feel like I was doing this last week, too. It's okay.
So coming back to Earth,
Yeah, please. Whoa.
I wanna propose a Anik nugget early, which was I was super surprised to recognize Timothée Chalamet as the son in this one. That was super cool.
I didn't realize it until I looked it up like an hour ago.
It was cool.
And I remember making some comment on Instagram about that, and somebody being like, "What? You don't know who he is?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I've never even seen him before, but I have in this. I just didn't realize it."
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool. He was good. I liked the kids. I thought the kids were good.
The son's an interesting character.
What do you mean? Is Timothée Chalamet or the Casey Affleck version?
Just the son character in general, yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. He got real dark, dude.
Super dark.
I mean, like really dark, dude. Like, TJ Maxx on a rainy day dark. You know what I mean?
TJ Maxx on a rainy day. I need to know more about why TJ Maxx is dark on like they have bad lighting, or like there's really angry grandmas in there looking for deals. Like, what are we?
Something like the latter,
Okay.
I guess. I just kind of vomited it out of my brain.
Right on.
TJ Maxx on a bad day. Everybody gets stabby
What did you guys think of that, like, opening?
with dust.
What did you
Go
guys
ahead.
think about the fact it took 40 minutes to kind of get into space? Like, I guess you could call that kind of Act 1.
I don't know. I don't want to go first. Ben, what did you think?
Well, I'd seen the preview, or the trailer, so I knew they were going to get to space the first time I watched it. So I think I was, being patient, I guess. I don't know.
And what about this viewing? I kind of forgot it took so long, but it was kind of fine.
Everything was fine with me on this viewing. I really enjoyed it. So,
Yeah.
like, more than I did the previous time I watched it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with anything. I couldn't agree with anything you said more. Like, it's exactly how I felt on this viewing. Like, I wasn't anxious for them to get to space. I was like, that's why I said what I said in the high level. Like, the movie moves along at just such a nice clip, and it's just so well knitted together and paced. It just, I've never caught, like, with moments where I'm like, my mind is drifting or whatever, because, it's interesting. It's just interesting content, interesting story that moves along at the exact perfect clip. So I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
Mm. I kind of feel like the sun stuff is just like, there just wasn't room in the story for it. The pacing would have been fucked up if they had spent much more time on it. Like, I just think it's kind of funny that as a result of trying to kind of tell a tight story, he's just kind of like, gives his son a hug. He's like, all right, cool. Probably won't see you again. Bye. You can have my truck. And then he goes TJ Maxx dark about it. I don't know. I just kind of get a kick out of it, but you're totally right. Like, he does fight for his kid and does clearly care.
Well, I don't know. I kind of think you both have a point. Like, he is a little bit left to the wayside, but the story's really more about. Well, that's
Murph.
not really right to say either.
The story's about his daughter, really. So
Yeah.
fuck Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. Fuck you, Timothy.
He didn't have to drink the fucking farmer Kool-Aid. He did. So.
Yeah. Timothy.
Like, I get what you're saying about how he kind of blows him off, but then, like, later on, he's pretty integral to the story. Like, when she makes the discovery about the watch and the binary code inside the hand of the watch. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite scenes in the movie where Topher Grace gets punched in the face. That's totally fair. I feel like we kind of covered the Earthbound shit. The Dust Bowl stuff I thought was really cool, just to touch on that a little bit more, considering I think we drifted away from it. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I really liked the kind of Band of Brothers-esque Ken Burns interviews of the survivors later thing, where they're like, we used to put our plates upside down and our cups upside down too. And it just really struck me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously there's a little nugget that it's actually from a Ken Burns documentary, but I really enjoyed that little bit, and the kind of like hometowniness of the baseball game and the dust storm and all that shit. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts there, but
I just enjoyed it because it helped kind of flesh out the world and, give a little bit of lore. I really dug the inclusion of the whole Dust Bowl thing. I mean, all that seemed very plausible. It's like a world that's like going, ecological catastrophe. You know what I mean? Like, essentially this blight is sucking up all the oxygen and just killing everything. You know what I mean? It's only a matter of time, So I like that, as a motivating factor for them to do what they're going to do,
kind of like Sunshine or whatever. Was that other one that had something similar?
Yeah, similar in motivation. Yeah.
Sunshine?
Isn't that what, like, this is a blight on this one, but for Sunshine, isn't the sun dying or some shit? So it's different, but similar. Like, the world is dying. That's the motivation to get everybody out of there and save the world, kind of shit.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's quite different.
Similar in that respect, yes. Yeah. Very different actual thing happening.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I mean, I thought the blight was like, it's just something that's killing plants. Like, they can't fucking grow anything because everything's just dying, right?
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Just scary as fuck.
I mean, it's plausible, totally plausible, and definitely a different angle than I've seen. If you're using like an apocalyptic scenario as your motivator, it's definitely something different.
It's kind of it's not the same at all, but it's kind of reminds me of the Nothing from Neverending Story, where you're like, that's a terrifying bad guy. It's nothing. Like in this, it's like, what do you do to fight it? You can do your genetic engineering and stuff, but like it just each successive crop dies off, and it's like you're fucked. You're proper fucked, you know, as opposed to like a fucking alien invasion kind of trope. I like it.
The big rock guy couldn't save the crops from the nothing.
No, exactly.
Look at these big strong hands.
With a cameo with Michael Booblasers.
Booblasers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not a hell of a lot to say about the dust. I think it's a cool inclusion. And then
no, that's it.
You know,
you said it.
We kind of covered the family dynamic shit, and you know, Alexandri shirt off wants to go fly in space. So maybe it's time to move into the space element of the film.
Let's just spend a moment on Lithgow because he is part of the family. We didn't really talk about him.
That's fair.
I think he's a really good kind of anchor in that family dynamic, you know, like his acting skill really brings a lot to the table. And I like the relationship and the dynamic between him and McConaughey and the kids. And
that he's not McConaughey's dad, he's the father-in-law. I think that was clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And I really think that he brings a lot to fleshing that whole dynamic out in that short amount of time with his acting ability. You know, like it was great. I really enjoyed seeing him in the movie. I really enjoy watching him on screen and acting, and he's just a pleasure to watch. He really knows what the fuck he's doing. You know,
definitely.
Yeah, I love it's just a little. I mean, this should probably go in bits and bobs, but while we're talking about him, I might as well throw it in. Just the bit about, you know, they go to the baseball game and he's like, popcorn at a baseball game is unnatural. I want a hot dog. You know?
Agreed. I love that too.
I love that. That's great.
He has just the right amount of fuck you, Cooper. Just like a sprinkling of like, you're a prick. And it's such a tightrope walk, and he walks it perfectly.
He does.
He's like, I know you want to go fly your spaceships, but like my grandkids need you, you fucking dickhead. Yes, I'll look after them. Fuck you. It's just great. Like, as I said, it's a tightrope walk. Like many people would blow that role, and he did not.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and just that dynamic is interesting, you know, where like the father-in-law stepping into the sort of power vacuum left behind by the wife that died of cancer, you know, like,
yeah,
you know, kind of like he needs to live with them because presumably he needs to live with them, but at the same time, he's sort of like fulfilling that role, you know, It's just an interesting family dynamic for a movie.
No doubt. Good one too. I'm glad that they made it up that way, you know?
Yeah. And then later on too, when older Murph and Casey Affleck or whatever are having an argument, and he's just like, my dad didn't fucking raise me, my grandpa raised me. Like, it really kind of cements that whole thing. It really, I don't know. It's obviously a callback, and it calls back to, you know, a fucked up family dynamic that was actually quite eloquently shown, so that as the viewer, you're like, yeah, he did raise you, you know? It's well crafted.
Very much so.
He was just a random throw out there, man. I think Lithgow's best performance is as the baddie in that one season of Dexter, man. That show went to shit, but fuck me, he was great in that season.
He was. That was really, really good. Nice honorable mention for Lithgow, Chad.
Yeah, dude. I've got a soft spot for him.
I've always liked John Lithgow, man. He's great.
Same.
I'm not going to do myself the disservice of reading off his IMDb list right now, so I don't have to suffer through the notes, but he's awesome.
The only thing I didn't like was Third Rock from the Sun, because I just didn't think the show was very good. You know what I mean? But I always heard he was great in it.
See, I was the right age for that, I think.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I was too cool.
You were way too cool.
In my own mind.
So let's blast into space, gentlemen. I
had French Stewart.
Yeah, totally.
Breathe. The answer, of course, is onions.
Dude, he did a good French Stewart in that with Skip, man.
Cue the organ music.
Yeah, exactly. The organ music, you know, Coop, who you kind of sympathize for as a character, finally gets to blast into space. There's like Apollo callbacks with the stages of the rockets falling out. It's kind of got some cool, you know, as a sci-fi nerd, you're enjoying seeing some spaceships for the first time, and there's that docking stuff. It kind of like you said earlier, Kev, the pacing's there, and then like the crew is on the ship, and it kind of has a like, let's talk about where we're gonna go and do some exposition shit, and then they end up making the decision to go to the ocean planet. Like that 15-20 minutes is quite tight, and there's a lot going on there. You go from fucking cornfields and hot dogs to like an episode of Star Trek or Firefly or something, you know, like hanging out on the ship. It was a cool transition. I think it was well handled, and like I just, as a sci-fi nerd, I was like, cool, we're in space now.
Okay, so we get up to the space station, which is super rudimentary, man. I was really like, well, I mean, I guess NASA being what it is, like, I don't know. Yeah, it was super, super rudimentary, the station. I mean, the ship was pretty dialed in, but...
The station?
You're not going to go hang out on a fucking Star Destroyer. Oh, it's a death. God damn it.
Nice one. Yeah, no, the space station, and I guess whatever you call it, it wasn't really a space station per se.
Space station?
You know, where they dock after they launch from Earth. I can't even talk, dude.
Oh, well, that's like the main living area of the ship. Like, it's part of the ship that they dock with, and then they take it with them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, right. Okay, I guess it was whatever.
Are you talking about like what Matt Damon was trying to dock with at the end of the movie?
Yeah, it kind of has an ISS feel to it.
That's the same thing. That was what they took from Earth.
Yes, correct.
Whatever. I just assumed it was like a space station. Whatever. The module. You know. Oh, we're getting hung up on semantics here. You know what I mean? Like it's like a. You know what? I'm just gonna shut up.
But you thought it was basic?
Yeah, it was rudimentary. It kind of fit though. It had an International Space Station feel.
That thing was fucking basic.
Yeah, it was basic. Exactly. It was like it looked like just cardboard painted white. You know. I don't know. Again, I'm gonna shut up.
Oh, fuck me. That's great.
Okay, so it's a downvote for ship design from Kevin.
We got there in the end.
I really actually liked the ships themselves. That bit I thought was whatever. Anyway.
The sneaker ships? I thought they were cool, but I was just like, where the fuck is all the fuel? Like,
true. You mean the Rangers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like a flying cockpit, so...
It kind of seems, or at least the way they portrayed it, yeah. Right? I mean, like, you're right. Where would they store the fuel? I mean, it was kind of like you had the control chairs, flight.
It looked.
So
I mean,
bad.
it appeared to me like that the interior of them was pretty wide open. Like was most like the you know, like from seeing what the thing looks like from the outside, it looked like the inside was mostly a cockpit. You know, like so. I don't know. Whatever. Gripes of Ben, I guess we'll call it.
Ooh.
One of the things I was enjoying about this particular gripe session is that there's one thing that Kev cannot fucking complain about is the quantity of dust in this movie. So we might as well complain about the ship.
I can't. You're right. I cannot touch the dust.
There's plenty of it.
No shortage of dust. There's a shortage of fuel, though. Maybe if they used Type 4 fuel, it would have been fine. That's probably what they use.
Boom. They didn't have enough Type 4.
It ain't the best dust, but it's hot and there's plenty of it, so dig in.
All right, let's get back on track and talk about the Gargantua planet, whatever, Wave Echo Cave, fucking Wave Planet.
Wave Echo Cave?
Yeah, that was an Adventure Zone reference, anyone who's listened to the Adventure Zone. The fucking giant wave planet, man, that was cool.
I do not understand the mechanics of how that worked. There was no land. Well, the way it seemed in my mind was that it was just very shallow water, and it was just basically a ball of rock with water on it. And it was like the waves were just like gigantic and contiguous. Like, I mean, the water was only like knee deep.
The idea there is that it's a water planet, but it's right next to a fucking black hole, which is, you know, we all know.
Pulling.
Has lots of gravity. So presumably the oceans would be deep if, you know, they weren't like, you know, tidally locked to a fucking black hole.
Interesting.
So you have a giant wave coming and that's where all the water is. And that's why everything else is shallow. It's like if the wave ever permanently broke, the water would be deep. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Total sense, dude. I really like that a lot because it makes it even cooler than I already thought it was.
Yeah, I remember the first time seeing that, I was just like, okay, cool, like shallow water, okay, whatever. But just the way that the time slippage stuff worked, and they're like, the mountains over there, those aren't mountains. Come on, TARS, it's fucking amazing. There's so much tension in that scene.
Agreed.
It's like I'm pretty sure I've had a nightmare very similar to that,
Oh, yeah.
That kind of a thing where like there's a giant wave coming and like you don't have any time to fucking do anything.
No doubt.
Except ride on up it in your sneaker spaceship.
What about Baron Zemo, dude? I really like that actor. I cannot remember his name right now or his character's name.
Oh, the dude from American Beauty?
Yeah, the good dude from... Well, yeah, he was also Baron Zemo in...
Was that...
No, wait,
wasn't
he
Baron
wasn't
Zemo?
Baron
No.
Zemo. No, he was in Ghost Rider as well.
I've never seen Ghost Rider, dude. I don't know if I'll ever stoop to that one.
It's not terrible. It's not bad.
Really?
So yeah, the wave planet was cool. It's a great tension ratcheting.
The music there was super well handled too. I mean, I imagine we should talk about the score on its own at some stage, but the minute the ship lands, all of a sudden the music's gone and it just starts doing like 1 second at a time, beeps or whatever, which I just thought was a super clever way of like immediately making it clear that like time is fucking roaring by, and then it gets a little bit faster and faster and faster, and just I found myself like white knuckling during that scene watching this for sure.
Wes Bentley, that's the name of the guy.
Oh, thank you.
And I'll
Perfect.
take my ejection
Cool.
death now.
Fuck you, bro. I love it.
Wes Bentley, ladies and gentlemen, as Doyle. Consequently, he was not Baron Zemo.
Nope.
No, he wasn't. I retracted that.
Baron Zemo. But Barbara Dillbeck, on the other hand,
Oh, Babs.
Babs Dillpickle, was in Guardians of the Galaxy
She was
2.
just as relevant as Baron Zemo.
Barbara Dillbeck. Wow.
Harbulary batteries. Harbulary batteries.
What's a Harbulary battery?
You don't remember that?
No.
No.
What was it?
What is that?
They were trying to get Harbulary batteries from Babs Dillpickle in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, is right on, man. So yeah, Ocean Planet was cool. Ice Planet was cool. Nuggets Stats ratings. Michael Caine's in this. That's my bit.
My cocaine. Do not go quietly into that good night.
Oh my God.
Rage against the dying of the light. It turned into John F. Kennedy at the end of that, but
Buried too many Batmans.
It's okay, dude. It was entertaining. He definitely had a
Nick B9 Belena.
he's definitely
I am a jelly donut.
he had a kind of like beyond burying too many Batmans thing going on in this one.
Way beyond too many Batmans.
I can't even muster an impression, man.
It's like confessing to Jessica Chastain at the end.
Dude,
like,
what a prick.
I know. What the fuck, dude?
I'll bury Batman, and then I'll bury Batman on top of Batman.
That was really good, dude. I don't know. That whole bit of it, since you brought it up, was just kind of twisted, man. Like I don't know. I didn't really understand that inclusion in the whole story. You know what I mean? Because like, why did they put all that in there? I mean, talk about despair and disappointment. Jesus Christ.
I think it's realistic, though. I think that, like, especially the fact that reveal of him burying too many Batmans while Matt Damon was in the room was just kind of like, no, we needed to trick you guys, otherwise you wouldn't have done this. And, like, it's true. Like, they needed to lie in order to get Coop and Brand and everybody else to, like, get Plan B off the planet, you know? I think it's true. I think it's especially nowadays with how many people have died with, you know, COVID in the last couple of years from mismanagement from every government ever. It just shows that, like, I think it's realistic. I think that it would be hard to get Plan B off the ground. Nobody would buy in, so they had to bullshit a Plan A, and it's so fucked up. But I think it's a frustrating but realistic inclusion in the film.
Yep, I'm with you, man. You're right about that.
I mean, even Matt Damon, like, you fucking hate him. The character, he's such a piece of shit,
douche.
but it's realistic. Like, you also understand the despair.
Yes, I like the inclusion of the despair. I don't know, like I'm a little torn on that whole thing, but I did like the inclusion of the despair and disappointment because there's multiple instances of it in the movie, and I think it serves the story.
Well, it's not as if look, it's Plan A, right? Michael Caine got as far as he could with figuring it out. They needed data, which, you know, Plan B ended up getting the fucking data.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's not like it was a total fabrication. You know what I mean? It's like there was supposed to be a fucking Plan A. They, you know, we'll presume that he had it like, you know, at least 50% of the way there, probably more, right? He just couldn't get any further with the information that he had. So it's not like, you know, it's not like they just totally like completely fabricated something. It was at least based in some truth, I suppose. It's just that at that point, it wasn't complete. You know, there was no way it was going to work.
Yes.
Unless they got more information.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where, like, they wanted to do the Plan A, but by the time Plan A failed, they were like, well, fuck. We just need to keep bullshitting it and getting Plan B going because otherwise we're fucking dead. Fuck. You could totally imagine that scenario.
Yes.
That's a good point.
And, you know, truth be told, colonies of embryos elsewhere is better than no humanity at all, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And the same can be said for the Matt Damon character, where it's like, he says it himself in some lines of dialogue where he's like, it never dawned on me that I would get to a planet that wasn't habitable, you know? And, like, I tried to avoid the temptation of pushing that button. And if I pushed it, somebody would come, you know? Like, you can sympathize with that position, but you also fucking hate the guy.
Yeah, no, but that's what was interesting about the writing there is that, you know, you really could firmly put one foot in each side of that whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just can't stand what a D-bag he is, but at the same time, it's like, you know, when he's describing, like, what it's like to actually see another, not think you're not going to see another human face again. It's like, again, like, despair to the 10th power.
Well, and the fact that we're social animals makes it even worse, yeah.
Gotta hand it to Matt Damon, too, man. That was it's pretty intense when he wakes up and he just starts bawling.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you literally fucking raised me from the dead.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It's hard not to identify with him, you know? He's
Agreed.
a piece of shit, but
he's a good piece of shit.
Well, it's something very, it's clearly stated in the dialogue between the two of them walking out on the ice floes there, but it's humanity, you know? Like, when push comes to shove, we tend to be survival-based, you know, animals. It's totally reasonable that the dude wants to fucking survive, but at what cost, you know?
well, I think there's also, you know, Matt Damon's character is clearly also like he's been by himself for a very long time, and that doesn't do very good things to the human psyche. So he's not dealing with a full deck of cards, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, and all of his like rambling about human nature, and you know, you're going to see your kids. That's the last thing that happens, and you know, it's like all these weird like, and then he's like, I'm sorry, I can't watch you. I thought I could, but I can't. But I'm here. Listen to my voice. You know, he's like doing all these things to try and justify what he's doing to himself. You know, it's all like self-justification, all that shit, all the survival bullshit, all that stuff. But he's clearly, you know,
Lost it.
a few screws short.
And if I may, a nice little nugget is that it was never revealed that he was in this movie. He totally kept quiet about it, and it was not in the top billing or anything like that. And nobody even really knew until the movie came out that he was in the movie, which I thought was
It's cool.
interesting because, like, I didn't know he was in the movie until I didn't know he was in the movie until I saw it.
What was the proximity between this and The Martian?
I would guess a good 6 or 7 years at least. I would guess.
Good.
Oh, really?
I'm just totally guessing. I have no idea.
All right, it's my turn to eject.
Go for it. I'm already doing it. I'm doing it too.
So, reconvene the show later. Okay, see ya.
1 year.
Was it really?
1 year? So Martian was 15 or 13?
15.
Yeah, no shit.
I was going to say, it seemed to me that I remember there being some kind of a rumor about him, like, because, well, it's not similar, but it's like, you know, again, Matt Damon's on a planet by himself in a spacesuit. So
It's very similar in the survival sense.
I think there was like some hush-hush going on there
Yeah, maybe.
of some kind.
And one was Nolan and one was done by Wiggly Scott.
It was a decent movie, The Martian. The book was great.
I thought the movie was good.
The book was great. It was a decent version of it,
Yeah.
movie-wise.
I'd like to listen to the audiobook of that.
You have, or you would like to?
I'd like to. I've heard it's good.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah, I've heard it's good too.
Yeah, whatever.
Does Matt Damon read it?
Whatever, man.
I don't know. I hope he does. Probably cost him $1 bazillion to make it if he's the one doing it.
I love the. I absolutely fucking. Maybe it's because I'm just about to finish rereading for the 56th time The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, which is like, I don't know, reading it now, like it's one of my favorite sci-fi books ever. It's so fucking good. But they're all. It's
the
all
Moon
about.
is a Harsh Mistress?
Yeah, by Heinlein.
Heinlein.
Okay. Yeah.
It'd be a good book club book, but they're all about like gambling in that a little bit. You know, like you throw dice when you pay for something at a shop, and like if you roll well, you get a deal, and if you don't, you don't. And so it's all about odds and stuff. And I just loved the scene here where he's smashing his helmet against. He's like, dude, you're just as likely to die. 50% chance. He's like, that's the best odds I've had in years. It's like, it's so good. It's so good. And so true, you know? He's just like, fuck it. Yeah, whatever. No? Are you both reading something on the internet?
I gotta be honest with you. I did not pay attention to one word you just said. I'm so sorry.
You're such an asshole.
I got distracted.
I heard it, man.
I think I started thinking about.
I'm not sure why you had to bring up The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, but
Well, I started thinking about Heinlein, Chad. Then I started thinking about the World Series of Dice on the Chappelle Show.
Fuck both of you guys.
The World Series of Dice, that's a great one.
It is grits and gravy.
Moving on.
Ashy Larry. Anyway, where to next?
I guess the only thing we didn't touch on was Romilly back in the I guess we'll call it the station or the living quarters or whatever, like after they get back from the water plant. It's like they're down there for like 10 minutes and they get back and he's like 30 years older.
We should talk about, because Chad brought it up like a lot in another episode and how fascinated he was by time dilation. So why don't we spend a minute and talk about that?
Yeah, man. I think that this movie wouldn't be anywhere near as powerful without the time dilation. It's like it's the stakes. It's the stakes in the movie. Cooper out aging his daughter is the stakes. And that scene where they come back from the water planet and old mate's 23 years older was fucking heady, man. Like,
Well, with a couple of naps in there, but yeah.
yeah, but still, like, fuck, that's crazy. And then you got the classic watching the video of all the messages, McConaughey crying scene, which is pretty hardcore.
Really hardcore, dude. Let me ask you this. So how long were they down on the planet?
3 hours and change.
And every hour was how long? 7 years?
7 years.
So he says 23 years when they get back.
Yeah.
And that's because the planet orbited Gargantua, right? This is the water planet, and we established that that's why it had the waves. So,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
man, that is just, it's so fascinating to me how that all works. And I still don't fully grasp it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of breaks my brain too.
I've read about it in a couple of other science fiction books. There's a book called, I think Ben loaned it to me, called The Spin.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's The Spin, where it's like this protective bubble around the Earth, but every time you leave it, like a bunch of people like leave and go to this other planet, like
Yeah, it's populated by the spin doctors.
I'm like kind of tired where like if you derail me, I literally just won't remember what I was just talking about.
Let him miss, can't be wrong. Spin?
How could you love him when you know you could have me?
Oh my God. Anyway, whatever. Time dilation. It's a brain breaking concept. And I get that like because they were around the black hole, like it changed the dynamics of it, you know, with those particular planets. right? But I mean, if they just went to like Jupiter, right, or Saturn, like the time dilation doesn't affect them as much, right?
Correct.
Or no?
It's a speed or
Correct.
gravity-based issue,
Yes.
to my understanding.
That's like gravitational lensing is like gravity bending light,
Yeah.
which is something that can be observed, but it's something akin to that with time as well, as far as I understand.
But that's a la like the way the black hole looked the way it did, Ben.
Yeah.
Because the gravity of the black hole is bending the light and making it look like it has this sort of corona around it or whatever.
Which we've actually observed now.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool.
That is cool. Do we use a space telescope for that?
Now, it was a composite of a lot of different images. I think they were radiation imagery. I don't know. It was that a couple of years back. It was a female scientist took the lead on that, and they programmed smashing a bunch of images together or something, if I remember correctly.
Cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew all the particulars at one point, but
a couple of years back.
I crammed my head with a lot of science every day, so hard to remember at this point when something is like 2 years old.
That's it.
Something like a hearty helping of science to get you through the day, man.
I try.
Yeah, no,
Sticks to your ribs.
You gotta watch out, 'cause you get a lot of you gotta separate the wheat from the chaff. But
science sticks to the ribs, fills you up.
anyways,
So back to Damon. Damon fucks around and finds out when he opens the airlock. And as mentioned earlier in the show, I really enjoy that docking sequence. It's just the right amount of intensity, despite the hilarity of the "come on, TARS" shit, which you knuckleheads have now made that intense scene forever funny in my mind. But I kind of feel like that third act or whatever chunk of the end of the movie that is, the docking to the black hole stuff is worth touching on before we bits and bobs it. Any comments on that docking station or the black hole stuff?
I liked how they explored the possibility that you could go inside a black hole because we don't know. And also, I liked the visual representation of what the black hole looked like. You know what I mean? Like, it's always like some swirling vortex, or whatever. It's like this was so seemingly more grounded in what we actually know. So I like that.
Mm.
And what was the other thing?
Just the kind of like escaping the atmosphere of that planet thing.
Oh, the docking scene. Yeah, I mean, it was like kind of gave the like the movie's like, it's kind of weird. It's like action packed and not action packed, but this was definitely like the action part.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it for sure. The docking scene was just super intense. It was just super cool to watch him come up with these various different solutions, like out in the middle of nowhere with no resources whatsoever, man. Like really well done.
I don't know if you guys saw that First Man one, the Gosling, Neil Armstrong moon landing one, but
negative.
No.
It's worth checking out. The last, few minutes of the actual moon landing was similar to McConaughey here, where, Armstrong had to kind of land the thing by feel, and they had like fucking 10 seconds of fuel by the time they landed. So the idea of that creativity and handling shit under pressure was super cool. So I totally agree with you there, Kev. The black hole shit, I don't know. I think maybe we covered the black hole shit better in Airborne, where you are actually in rollerblades in a infinite space. So maybe we can just kind of like flash back to that, because I don't know if I have a bunch to say about it, but it's such a cool sequence here.
Yeah, it is great.
I don't know. The way that they portrayed it visually was awesome, and like I remember just having like that total blow away moment when I don't know if it's a twist, but like when you realize the whole thing comes together during the first viewing, it's pretty fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I don't really know what else there is to say about it though.
No, nothing really. Do we want to touch on the music, or do we talk about that enough? Or did we even talk about it?
We didn't really talk about it, but it's fucking amazing.
The soundtrack by Hugh Jorgan.
Yeah.
How did I miss that? So this is really kind of a nuggety bit here, but that documentary that I mentioned that I'll find is what I think was really cool was how he wanted to have something that was not mechanical in nature as an instrument. So he wanted it to be like a human powered instrument, meaning like blowing air through it. You know what I mean? Like that's why he chose the organ. It had a very super organic kind of feel to it. And he wanted the music like that because it contrasted against all of the man-made stuff in the movie, I guess. And they found this organ in this English church. I'm pretty sure it was in England. It's just absolutely gargantuan organ. And that's what they used to record it. And it was super cool. And he wanted Zimmer to do something just completely different. And I think it probably ends up being like one of Zimmer's coolest scores. And like I said before, I'll find that doc and link it up so we can share it with the fans as well. Listeners, rather.
The organ was a really interesting choice. I don't know. I mean, I've always been a fan of churchy organ stuff. It's just such an interesting instrument and a super powerful sound. It was the only thing I gave a fuck about when I was forced to sit in church every Sunday for years of my goddamn life, of how cool the organ sounded. And the whole foot pedal thing is pretty amazing too. But it fit really well here. And
I agree.
I think it was smart of Zimmer and Nolan to want to break away from the standard drum fucking string action scene score bullshit. That would have been unmemorable and probably fine, but I feel like this score elevated the material as opposed to just being placeholder. So I'm totally on board.
Absolutely elevated it.
I think it's one of the best scores in recent cinema. It's
I agree.
It's great, man. It's so good.
It's that good.
Didn't
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like Vangelis or Star Wars, but it's like in recent memory, it's fucking great. It's really good.
It's kind of like Vangelis in its uniqueness.
That's
what were you
true.
trying to squeeze in there, Ben?
wasn't there a bunch of organ music in Mission to Mars?
Mars. Which one's Mission to Mars?
Or I think it's Mission to
Yeah,
Mars.
with Gary Sinise.
The one with Gary Sinise and
Oh, yeah.
Tim Robbins and
Connie Nelson was in it, I think. Right?
Leslie Nielsen was in it too. No, I'm just kidding. He wasn't in it.
Yeah,
Oh.
Leslie Nielsen and Connie Nelson. I think it was Connie Nelson. Anyway, wow, that was a good movie too, man. I really like that.
Yeah, I'm having the organ music thing has been bugging me for a while. I was like, there's another sci-fi movie like with organ music in it. I might be totally wrong, but it's probably not like pipe organ. It's probably just like organ sounds on a synthesizer or something. But I feel like I remember that.
I seem to as well. I really like how they did like a proper old school organ and like recorded it all at that church, you know?
Yes.
Was that from the documentary that they recorded at a church or something?
Yeah, that's like they found this one organ at this church in England, and that's what they used for the movie.
Oh, that's cool, man. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Because it was so massive. It's not like you can be like, all right, well, we'll just bring it down to the studio. It's like, yeah, that thing doesn't ever move.
Yeah, that's true. That's obvious, but I hadn't considered it, and that's super cool.
Yeah. It's not the same document. It's not a documentary. It's just a guy performed this soundtrack on like a huge pipe organ somewhere in Ireland. I don't think it was the same one, but he just like the organ player or whatever was like, yeah, I'm going to fucking do that. You know,
Fair enough.
it's pretty cool.
Between that and the a Phantom of the Opera song, like it's pretty iconic.
He's like in his stocking feet and he's like playing it with his,
yeah,
all four limbs basically.
it's so cool.
All right, are we ready for bits and bobs or what?
I think we're ready for bits and bobs. Yeah.
We already did it. I already rated it 3 boobs.
3 boobs and a bulb.
I already did a bit.
Bits and boobs.
There's already been a nugget.
This bunch of nuggets.
I got a bit where I enjoyed the translation through the wormhole, the like wing orbiting, like the wing of the ship kind of orbiting that sphere and going through it. That was cool. And the like initial abyss blob, holding Anne Hathaway's hand. That's a cool little scene.
Which turned out to be Cooper's.
Yeah, which is
hand.
cool. And totally has like a Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, God touching Adam's finger kind of vibe to it.
Not really, but yep.
Totally does, man. What are you talking about?
Okay. I guess so, yeah. All right, yeah, that's a good bit. I think, what did I really like? I was digging the sort of the
old transgalactic high five.
I was digging the sort of the canister, ring habitat that he ends up at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. The cylindrical station.
Cooper Station?
Yeah, Cooper Station. Yeah. And I will also say that in a stark contrast to that, I really felt like the end scene when he finally sees the daughter, like should have been more.
Really? I thought that was great.
Well, look, I not only did I think it was great, I really just got upset when I was watching it. And
This time, yeah, for sure.
it was really hitting me in all the right spots, especially having a young daughter. So I think
Like, what more was there to say?
I liked it. Everything about it was. Here's what I'm saying, dude. I liked it. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I just thought it should have been longer because in the resolution and everything was right. They just should have inserted more in there because I felt like it was a little too brief. Like after all that shit, all of those years, those 80 whatever years, you know what I mean? Like he's finally coming back and he's finally, like fulfilling the promise, seeing the daughter, and she's now old, very old.
Pushing 90.
Yeah. And then it's like to go in there and like the family kind of parts to let him in, but they don't really regard him. You know what I mean? And
nobody's like, hey, Grandpa.
Yeah.
yeah, right. Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, like it was this weird detachment, and I loved how Ellen Burstyn was and like the way it was written, but it was just too brief. Like it was kind of like I knew you'd keep your promise and all that stuff, and I'm like watching it and I'm crying, and I was like, this is fantastic. And then she's just like, it's okay. I have my children with me. Go see Brant. And I liked how she did that. I just was like, this is too brief after such a buildup, after over 2.5 hours of this fucking ridiculously long movie. You know what I mean? So that's my gripe, man. I think they should have inserted more and they should have had more like, sort of interaction or at least acknowledgement by the family. I don't know, man.
I simultaneously disagree and agree with you.
Okay, I'm with it. And I can probably guess why. But I feel like, like the doctor when he wakes up is like, oh, this is Murphy Cooper we're talking about, and like she's this like revered character. But it's like, what about him? You know what I mean? Like, he left to go and like help everybody and he's the father of this person. And it's just like he walks in the room and everybody's just kind of like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, anyway, that's what I think. Ben, I want to hear what your thing. Go ahead.
No, that's it. I said it. I agree with you that there's part of me that feels like it should be longer, and there's part of me that thinks it's just right. Could be that you if you add one more word in there, it suddenly becomes exhausting, and you're like, ugh. It becomes an ugh scene, like it's short. I feel like the fact that it's short and sweet, there's something about that works. Like you want more of it, but maybe it's one of those situations where being left wanting more is better than getting what you're thinking. Yeah,
is the right thing. No, I'm with you, man. I feel you, dude, for sure. That's a good thought.
I mean, I'll say this in general. By the time Cooper's suiting up in that black suit and hopping back into another sneaker ship to go off and see Brand, I'm kind of on board for like a part 2 to this story.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
It'd be sick.
It would be, man. Him and Brant on that world, and what the hell happens next?
Yeah, totally.
More weird, like help from the future people stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Future humans. Yeah, I'm with it, man. I just
still don't get it, TARS. It's us.
Dude, when I heard TARS's voice inside the Tesseract, I just was so unbelievably psyched.
Yeah.
That's another bit.
So I disagree with your gripe on that one. I think
oh, blow me, dude. We're already onto another bit.
No, well, I didn't get a chance to tell you what I thought about it. Like, fuck you. I'm going to talk about it.
We don't care.
All right, fine. We'll allow it. Go ahead.
I think that the family disregarding him is the appropriate reaction. I think it would be really weird to have 4 generations of people in a room and then the 5th generation walks in and he's fucking younger than everybody. It'd be a really surreal, fucked up situation. And he was 100% absent from those 4 generations, so they're going to be focused on the elderly Murph. And I think the elderly Murph is the stronger person in the scene, where she is, they lost 50 years on that falling into the black hole scene and 23 years on the ocean planet. So it's been at least 73, 75 years. And she was 10 when they took off. So, like, she's lived a full life, and I like that she is a mature old woman who has lived a full life and seen it all, and she can kind of have a motherly interaction with her son. I really like, or with her father. I really like that it's like, it's okay, Dad. I knew you were going to come back, and like, I know enough about life. I know more about life than you do. Let's just leave this here. I've got my kids. And it's super powerful, I think, that like the daughter is more mature than the father. And I kind of like that switch in roles. And it kind of, in a weird way, like mirrors real life, where there's a certain point where you end up parenting your parents a bit, you know, as they get older and stuff. So it's I don't know. I feel like it struck the right note for me there.
Wow, that was a really excellent response.
I'm not discounting your point of view. I just have a different one. That's all.
Well, look, I said I like both.
Yeah.
You know.
Any other bits?
Nope.
The only other bit I've got is the I touched on it earlier, but when Coop tricks Brand into going on without him and he ejects, I like how he's facing her face to face with the two ships.
Me too.
It was a cool shot, and like it really, like without that shot, I don't think it would have been as powerful of a moment. And it was well done.
Yeah, no, really well done.
But I think that's about it.
Nuggets? Do we even have any left?
Yeah, I got a couple. For the cornfield scene, evidently Christopher Nolan had experience growing corn from Man of Steel in 2013, and they grew 500 acres of corn for this movie so that they could shoot the various early first act scenes. And as a result of purchasing and growing 500 acres of corn, shooting the movie, they then sold the corn and made a profit. And I just kind of love the practical effect nature of Christopher Nolan growing 500 acres of corn.
I agree. I read that too, and I thought that was pretty cool.
The dude is the master of practical effects.
He's the master of corn.
Yeah, man. Children of the Corn. I have one more nugget, if you'll allow it. It actually is a Matthew McConaughey nugget that I think is quite funny. Matthew McConaughey's brother is named Michael. So Michael McConaughey has the nickname Rooster, and he had named his son Miller Lite McConaughey.
Wow.
And I think that's funny.
Strange but true nuggets, folks, right here on the EBD podcast.
I mean, come on. That's the most Matthew McConaughey thing ever. He's got a nephew named Miller Lite. Like, that's so Matthew McConaughey.
I love it, dude. I think it's great.
Yeah. Miller's not so unusual, but...
Miller Lite's pretty, yeah. I mean, that's pretty...
Miller Lite
pretty
is...
It's Lyte Light, so I guess that's forgivable, right?
Yes.
It would have been better if it was Miller High Life McConaughey.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, dude. High Life's way better.
Yeah, way better.
If I ever randomly meet this kid, that's what I'm going to call him.
It could be like HYLEIF.
Yep.
Like it's an elf name or something.
Like, no, or like those old like 50s, names of like products and advertisements and shit.
Advertisements. I like it. Very British of you.
Yeah, right? Yeah, British. All right. So my only nugget is the space travel in this movie was based on Kip Thorne's work. We touched on them before.
Nobel Prize winner.
Which is also the basis for the space travel in Carl Sagan's Contact, in which McConaughey stars in both. I totally forgot about that. Because he doesn't, Jodie Foster really kind of plays the McConaughey character, but it's the same kind of wormhole idea. I didn't really realize how sort of similar these two movies are, at least in that respect.
Is that a good movie? I don't know if I've ever actually put time
Contact?
into
Oh, man, it's great.
Is it?
But it really struggles with Contact's different. Like, they're both similar in that they both kind of, the science fiction is there, but it's really wrestling with like themes of like, love versus science versus duty versus, these various different things. But Contact is more kind of like religion versus science, a little more straight up.
Gotcha.
But in that movie, Matthew McConaughey plays a priest, not a spaceman.
And there you go.
And he does take his shirt off.
He's not a priest.
Well, he's...
Priests don't have sex with women.
Father, whatever. Tom Skerritt's in that movie.
I love Tom Skerritt.
With a mustache.
Yes.
Steak and mustaches to talk about Tom Skerritt.
Boom.
Deaths?
There's only 3.
What you got, bruh?
All right. Wow, Benny had no deaths. And then I had...
No, I objected to find
Oh,
Yeah, you did.
shit, that's right. Sorry.
the Martian.
I can't believe they were only a year apart, man. That's clearly my brain does not remember that properly.
No, mine doesn't either, man. So, all right, Benny did have a death. He ejected on Martian. I ejected on Wes Bentley. Chad had a Star Wars death. And I had the Holy Half Dead death.
Holy hand grenade death.
Countess, not thou, till 2.
That's it. Let's rate this baby and go have a goddamn beer and a mustache.
Beer and grow a mustache.
You know what? This movie is a 10, dude. It's great rewatchability, like a lot of great content. You know, you kind of discover new things when you watch it again and again. The performances are great. The soundtrack is very unique and very cool. You know, the portrayal of space and time travel, or not time travel, but like, you know, science fiction in this movie is really cool. So 10.
I dig it, bro. I dig it. I'll go. This movie is fucking great. I'm having a hard time taking recent films and elevating them above like mega classics, you know? So I don't know if I'm ready for Interstellar to be legendary, but it's damn fucking close. Yeah, I give it an 8.8. It's up there with, you know,
Gee whiz.
it's up there with a lot of good ones. Terminator 2 is currently the threshold of legendary movie as discussed recently. But it's a fucking fantastic movie. It's one of the better sci-fi movies for me. It's my flavor of sci-fi. Like, it's not too pew-pew lasers, even though I enjoy that from time to time. So it's really, really good. It's one of the better movies of the last decade for sure, and one of the better sci-fi movies for me ever.
Wow. Well said. Impressed I am. All right, Benoit, you labeled this 3 Booblasers or something before. What do you think?
Ooh, well, shit, we got to put lasers on the boobs too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Or at least
like sharks with
at least
freaking
a
laser
scope.
beams, dude.
We need 3 boobs, but they also need to shoot lasers out of the nipples.
Definitely, dude. Definitely.
Yes, I have been lasered by the 3 boobs
Yeah.
by this movie. It's really good, man. It is definitely my favorite Nolan movie. I think it's at the top of the heap. It's just got a lot going for it, man. It's got a great story. It's great sci-fi. It's got great science, but it's got a lot of heart too. You know, like it definitely hit me in the feels really hard a few times. And when you can get all of that out of a movie, that means a lot to a guy like me. So yeah. It's earned all of those boob lasers for sure. In conventional terms, I would definitely give this one a 10.
Nice.
Wow, nice. 2 10s
I like it.
and an 8.8. Jesus, dude. This might be one of the highest rated movies ever.
Probably it might be.
Damn good. It deserves it.
You guys have been throwing out a lot of 10s recently, which is perfectly okay. So just means we've been watching good stuff.
No, I'm not afraid of it anymore either.
Yeah, don't be.
I am not afraid.
I am not afraid.
I'm not going to level 2 with you.
No.
Well, I hope that that did enough justice to Interstellar, considering that it's a difficult one to cover. There were some funny moments, at least.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe this will be one of those, ones we revisit later.
But that is a story for another time.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Cyclops, what are we doing next week?
We are doing Lethal Weapon.
Wow, Mr. Joshua. I can't wait.
And
And I can't wait to listen to Ben talk like Danny Glover the entire
the whole time. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen the first Lethal Weapon. I'm excited.
I'm old.
Hey, Riggs, read him and weep.
Well, I'll tell you what's funny about Ben doing that to me. Ben, when you do that now, that's how Danny Glover sounds in my head.
Yeah.
It's not...
It's not actually how Danny Glover sounds.
It's close enough.
I don't know if it is how Danny Glover sounds. I mean, I know what Danny Glover sounds like, but like I've heard you do that more almost than I've heard him talk, and now he sounds like you in my head, and I like that.
Wow, that's interesting. It'll get better because I will, once I consume the source material.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets a little tighter. So, as it was for Predator 2.
I'm super excited for a buddy cop movie, man. Fuck, I'm excited for a buddy cop.
Yeah, me too.
Second Danny Glover movie, first Mel Gibson movie for us.
Yes. Ooh, that's right.
Rock
dude.
and roll.
Well, there you have it, folks. Lethal Weapon. And we hope you enjoyed Interstellar. From all of us to all of you, farewell and good night.
See ya.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you'd like to support the show, there's a number of great ways you can do it. You can tell some of your friends. Check out the show. It's a good show, so tell your friends. Rate us and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, or your podcast nuggleberries. You can also support us on Patreon. You know, throwing us $1 a month, it helps. You know, think about it. It's a good way to go. Patreon.com/EBD podcast. You can find the show notes for this episode in your podcast app choice, or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/127.
Yeah.
Did I just nail that without you telling me?
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Nice.
Took 126 episodes.
It only took 126 episodes, yes. Don't forget to follow us on social media, folks. We use the handle @EBD Podcast on all social media outlets, and we spend most of our time on Instagram, so check us out there. Be great. We love you. Good night.
One for C-Lab, two for Troy Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio in this episode. Everybody dies.
Beady. Stop into it.
TARS. Jar ego.